Hi, my name is Anna, and in this video, I'll speak to you about how you can style your container. Whether you're setting it up for the first time or interested in giving it a little bit of a facelift, I'll cover all the controls you have at your disposal to customize your interface. If you're coming back to the video or just interested in a specific section, you can find that down here in the progress bar. If not, I'll start by covering the general look and feel, then we'll go into folder styling, page editor, brand section, and then in the end I'll speak about how you can make a brand guide in Kontainer. Right, I've jumped into Kontainer and we're going to start by looking at the general look and feel. I'll go to the admin menu out here to settings, and I'll start in appearance where you can set a logo. The logo will be shown up here and also on your login screen here. It will also be used for emails that are sent out by the system, so we have to have it in an SVG format. You can select a placement and a size, and you can also set a background color. For example, here, if you have a white logo, you might want to have a background color to bring that out. A highlight color is this one out here, and it's also shown when you select files, when the drop-down menus come out, and so on. The button color and a link color, that is for text links, and I'll talk about text further ahead in the video. The primary background color is this one out here behind your images or folders, and the menu background color is of course this one. You can select any color you want. We just highly recommend that you use white or very light colors. You can also change the background color, of course. That's the background image in here. This screen won't be visible to anyone who accesses files and folders via a link straight into Solution, but it will be seen by anyone who has to log in, so it's nice to have an image here to welcome them. The Favicon is this one up here, and that has to be uploaded as an ICO file. If you don't have that file format for your logo, there's a converter linked in the text below here. So, in the configuration, you first have the browser title here, that's the one there. And we recommend you have something with your brand name, and afterwards maybe something like Image Bank or Brand Portal, so people know where they've landed. The global folder description will be at the top of every folder. So we only recommend using this if you have like some strict copyright or something like that you need to show everyone in every single folder in your solution. If not, you can manually edit it from one folder to the other. The login message is the one that you see here. You can format that with different fonts, sizes, and so on. The default view is the view of the files. So the way that you see your images, for example, in here, this is a grid view. You can also have a box view, which puts everything into these squared boxes, or you can have a list view if that's better for you. I like this one. The sorting can be set by name, size, or when the file was uploaded, or custom. Custom is the only one that will let you drag and drop files into different places. These filters here that I have enabled refer to the search filters in here. This will look different depending on your setup, so I have some custom fields in here. You might not have as many fields visible. This is the date from and to, and the file type filters that you can enable and disable, and the save search function. So that's these ones here. You can also add some terms and conditions. These would show up before anyone logs into the system, even if they're using a link, and they would have to accept those terms and conditions before accessing your files. The root folder name is the name of this main folder that you land on when you come in. Any other folder will have this folder name and a back option there. This one doesn't have anything because I haven't set anything down here. Right, next I will go into folder styling. You can style your folders in Kontainer in different ways, and I have some examples here. There are some tall folders, some wide ones, and then these small ones down here. You can have text across them, or you can have the folder names down here underneath. And then these ones with images have a color overlay as well, which means that the large folder name stands out a little bit more. So there's this filter of color between the image and the folder name. To change the design, you can simply drag across like this and then select here, or you can right click and then set folder view from there. I'll select the tall folders and I'll hide these small folder names underneath and instead show the ones that go across. And I'll scale to fit and then add this color overlay. And now you can see these folders look like these ones up here. To set up the default view of your folders, you go here to Appearance and Folders, and then you have this example folder here that will show you what these will look like as standard as you select things down here. So any custom designs that you've made already, you're not going to override those, just apart from the font that will change across everything. But yeah, you can make selections here. So I will choose this font and you can see it changes up there. I'll do a wide folder and rounded corners. And then you can see this is what it will look like. You can also set a folder background image, and I have an example up here. And then I've added here also the color overlay as standard, because if I take it away, you can see it's more difficult to read the text. Depending on the size of your folder, you might want to crop this default image that you can put on top. There are some specs for the different folder types at the bottom here in the article. Next, I'll cover how to make designs on the pages of your folders. To improve user experience, you can create custom designs inside of your folders using the page editor tool. Here you can add in text elements, you can add images, video and GIFs. You can also add links behind the text or images that will take your users to other parts of your container or external websites. The first thing you might want to do is set up some editing options for your text, and you do that out here under Settings and Text Editor. Here you can define 6 presets that you can use as you're going through and designing your layouts. You can select a font, a size, color, and so on. In here, back in my folder under Assets, I can access the page editor up here under the More menu, under Page Editor. And you can see here in my first content box, I have text and I've used headline 1. You can add more sections down here and you can move them around here with this option here. We have a full guide on how to create custom landing pages inside of your folders, and there is a guide linked in the article below here. The next thing that you could consider doing is using our download template feature to create different crops for images that you would like to use in your designs. So here, for example, we've played around with some different cropping specs, and if you had, for example, this one that you would like to use, you could create a download template so you can quickly download any of the images in your container with those specs. And you set download templates up under Resources and then Download Options, and you can create a new up here. We also have a full guide on how to create download templates, and that's also linked in the article below. Next, I'll show you how to create a brand section. I've just moved myself a little bit to show you brand section. Brand section is this part down here of the left menu, which you won't see as an admin user, but this you can activate on all of your other users and when you share links with files and folders. I just have some contact details and some social media links, but you can decide anything else that you want to add in here, like a corporate text or something like that. You set it up under Settings and then Brand section. You can add more sections down here, or you can delete them, and then you can add social media links in here. There's a full guide below on how to make that as well. Next, I'll go through a case of setting up a brand guide in Kontainer using these design features and also the folder structure. A great way to use the customization and the design features in Kontainer is to create a brand guide. You can also use it for making press kits or like a page for an event launch, something like that. Here I've made a guide, a brand guide, and I've started by setting up a structure with a main folder here and subfolders underneath. You can of course add more layers depending on what would suit your uses, and you also decide who gets to see what. So like with any other folders in Kontainer, you set the permissions. So some things can be seen internally, others could be seen externally by different teams, and so on. When you create your brand guide in here, you don't have to worry about version control because everything in here is always the current version. As I mentioned in the section about page editor, you can add text elements, you can add images, you can also add these GIF elements to make it more dynamic, and you can add video. For some brands, that's really important to have someone introduce the brand, the story behind it, and so on. You can also create links, so externally to websites and so on, and then internally you can link around the guide or to other parts of your image bank. Here I've created, for example, a link from this main page to the color section of my guide here. To set it up, you log in as an admin, and then you go up here to the More menu on the page that you want to edit and open the page editor. You can see all the sections that are already here, and you can add more. We have more inspiration on our help desk, and you can find the link for the inspiration page below this video.